Hello and welcome to From No Crypto to No Crypto. This is Blockchain Wayne with another cryptocurrency podcast. Today's episode brought to us by Concierge Club, mobile private key wallet, and point of sale solution, helping to make crypto safe, fast, and overall process more efficient while costing less, helping to make crypto mainstream. All right, today let's take a look. Today's topic is going to be about non-fungible tokens. What is a non-fungible token? Also, you hear me mention it as a NFT. Right? So NFT, what is an NFT? It is a non-fungible token. So before we dig in, we have to look at what is fungibility. So in economics, fungibility is the property of a good or commodity whose individual units are essentially interchangeable. So for example, 1 kilogram of pure gold is equivalent to any other kilogram of pure gold, whether it's in the form of coins or whatever. Gold is fungible. No different than a dollar. My dollar, your dollar, they're interchangeable. I can hand them back and forth. So non-fungible means that anything is unique. So that the fungibility definition I just gave you came from Wikipedia. Non-fungibility, it can be compared to baseball cards, as each has a unique information and a varying level of rarity, which rarity is what can give something value. So futures, collectible, game skins, game items, digital land, tokenized art, etc. All even like software licenses or software titles to prevent privacy can be attached to a non-fungible token to allow you to exchange that digitally. So one more crucial difference, bear in mind. So fungible tokens are divisible, meaning you can send a fraction of one token like Bitcoin, right? So I don't have to send you one full Bitcoin. I can send you 0.01, 0.001, just as like you can give change. So a non-fungible token cannot be divided. It must be bought or sold whole. Kind of like a baseball card, right? Nobody's going to buy half of a baseball card. So that is the difference with fungible and non-fungible tokens. So ERC 721 non-fungible tokens, that's a standard on Ethereum. It allows each unit to be a unique collectible item with its own serial number. Now, what gave popularity to this is back in the end of 2017, as crazy as it may sound, there was a game called CryptoKitties, and CryptoKitties is still out there. And to be honest with you, I own a few cats. I bought a couple of cats. I bought a couple of them for pretty cheap. Bred them together. Came out with a cross-eyed, ugly cat. Sold that cat for about $100 worth of Ethereum. So there you go. So it gives individual identities and properties to each non-fungible token, which when you pull it up, which shows in the form of a cat, right? And that has evolved over time because there's a lot more things that are sold as non-fungible tokens or NFTs now. Right now, there's the like digital cards that look like magic cards, but they're actually interactive, whereas the avatars in the card move digitally when you open up that in your wallet. One of the ones that really caught my attention early on, that really showed what was possible, is MLB crypto. So that's Major League Baseball crypto. It's digital bobbleheads that you can buy. They're 3D, they're digital. You can spin them all around, look at every side of it. It's kind of got cartoonish features. There are limited editions of each one. I've seen some sell for as little as a dollar, a few dollars worth of Ethereum, whereas some were selling for thousands and thousands of dollars because they were rare. They were sought after players or sought after events in baseball, and so there were a lot more. So that's one that came out, and even within the MLB crypto app, the decentralized app that you can use to pull it up, you can even set that digital bobblehead on a physical surface, kind of like a augmented reality, to where kind of like Pokemon, where you see the icon or the item imposed onto the screen of a normal looking picture through your phone screen. So there's other platforms for NFTs that are out there besides Ethereum, Neo, Tron, EOS, but Ethereum, the ERC 721 standard, is the one that is used the most. And you can even go, if you Google ERC 721, it'll take you to er721.org, which is basically the standard, and it gives you sample code. So if you're trying to write this, it's an open book. You know, just recently there's another standard that was mentioned, ERC 1155, but it's not really can't really be called a standard yet because it hasn't been fully implemented to see some use cases. But in that case, how does that improve on the ERC 721? Is it combines your ERC 20, that's your Ethereum based tokens that are fungible, kind of like 0x or a lot of other ones that started on the ERC20 platform. Those were actual cryptocurrencies that were fungible, which means you can exchange them. It was basically created to be used as a token or as a currency. And then ERC 721, like I mentioned, those are the ones that are non-fungible. And typically they require separate contracts to transact with either one of them. But on ERC 1155, it will allow you to bring those together, making transactions cheaper, allowing multiple complex operations to be bundled into a single transaction. You can group multiple tokens and enable atomic swaps. So it's going to allow you to use, fungible and non-fungible tokens on the same contract, basically. So I know, don't get lost in the weeds when we talk about ERC 721, ERC 1155. Those are just different examples. ERC 721 are your non-fungible tokens. ERC 20 are your fungible tokens. And ERC 1155 is basically meant to be a hybrid of both. So, that's really what we have with non-fungible tokens. And there's just so many things that are going to happen, right? So, Engine Coin has developed a whole lot of non-fungible tokens that could be utilized when it comes to gameplay, right? When it comes to exchanging collectibles, game skins. You want to buy a weapon in a game that's going to, in these decentralized games that are going to be coming out, or some of them are already out and being tested now. It's actually a non-fungible token. And why does it matter if it's a non-fungible token, right? Because it has value. It becomes tradable, right? So you may have this rare weapon that you collected in a game, and somebody else may want it. And guess what? Maybe you want to sell it. In most games, you can't really do that. But, if it's a token, then you can transfer ownership of that. And then collectibles, as I mentioned. I mean, you think about, how does a Beanie Baby have a value in the past? We heard of those Beanie Babies, stuffed animals, having values of $100,000, $200,000 for the really rare ones, right? That's no different than CryptoKitties, right? The highest CryptoKitty sale was around 2017. It was for the equivalent of $100,000 worth of Ethereum for a single CryptoKitty. Now, why did that even happen? Well, you might think it's kind of crazy, but it's very rare, right? People want something that's rare, that's a collectible, that's identifiable. And I mean, we have our phones with us all the time. We're living in a digital age, so why not digital collectibles? You don't have to have this shelf on the wall that has all these collectibles. So why not a non-fungible token? Now, with that being said, who's to say that you couldn't create a non-fungible token and tie that token back to real ownership in an actual physical asset, to where whoever holds that token can utilize that? And then the conference we had in New Orleans, it was a crypto conference a couple weeks ago, where one of the guys from Decentraland was there. Now, Decentraland is a non-fungible token where they sell digital land. So what could digital land do for you? Well, it creates a virtual reality world to where you can do a lot of different things. So imagine this is kind of where you painted the picture for the future. Imagine you're online, you're in this virtual land, and you walk into a virtual storefront and you see different items in that virtual storefront, and you make a payment for one of those items. And by making that payment, that triggers a shipment of the actual physical item to you, right? It's going to be a new way to shop. Also, another thing that was shown where on the digital land, one of the guys had built like an arena, kind of like, from the Greek mythology days, with this arena to where you have a stage, and you can, instead of having a meeting room, you send someone a token that gives them access to get into your arena. Or you sell tokens, right? And they go into that arena and you can see a talk, right? You can have someone that uses their digital avatar, but they're actually speaking. They're giving a speech, and it's being broadcast to anybody that has that token that's able to enter that room or that arena. And that is could be the future of TED Talks, right? It could be the future of any kind of speeches or motivational speakers utilizing their platform to grow. So Decentraland is doing some very interesting things, but you can buy that land. And how big is that? Well, when they initially had their token sale to sell their land, they initially raised $25 million for digital land. It's quite a bit. It's kind of crazy, right? And then they also have the graphics to where it can be utilized on any computer. Not necessarily you need a high-end, high graphics, card, high-end gaming computer. It can be utilized on most computers today, so it's not graphically heavy, right? So that's what it's going to kind of evolve in. One of the biggest issues I find that's kind of slowed down the growth and the adoption of non-fungible tokens is the ability to purchase them, right? When I initially bought the crypto kitties that I have and the MLB crypto collectibles that I have, it was while doing research for a podcast episode that I did several months back. And I realized, even though I know crypto, the process was still not as easy as you would think. I initially downloaded the MLB crypto app, right? And I go into the app and it shows me what's available to buy, but there's no way in there on how to buy it. And then I quickly learned that I had to download a wallet that supported these non-fungible tokens. So I chose the Trust wallet, TRUST. Downloaded the Trust wallet. Then guess what I had to do next? I had to send Ethereum, Argo. If you don't have Ethereum, you got to buy Ethereum and send it to that wallet. And then within the Trust wallet, there's a web interface for decentralized apps, and that's where you can find the exchanges in there. Now I used OpenSea, OpenSea.io. There's a few other exchanges where you can go and you can see which collectibles are up for sale, and OpenSea lists all the different ones, whether it's CryptoKitties, MLB Crypto, different games, different weapons, different skins, different land, right? Decentraland, right? If you want to buy some land. So there's a whole lot in there to where you can see what's going on. Some of it's straight for sale. You can buy it now, and some of it's up for auction. So, and then you have to make a buy, but the prices are all in Ethereum, right? There's no converter right there. It's not easy. So I think what we're going to see happen is we're going to see a lot of these platforms evolve in the ease of purchase. One thing that I'm looking at currently is crypto ATMs. Now, some of your basic crypto ATMs don't have the ability to add apps, but there's a new crypto ATM that's rolling out, and I interviewed the head of business development just a few episodes ago with Vault Logic, to where they're putting out ATMs where everything is basically an app interface that has a very easy API to use. So imagine creating an API to buy that digital token, right? So instead of having to figure out, okay, I got to buy Ethereum, I got to send Ethereum to the wallet, and then I got to figure out how to buy it, I can walk up to this machine. It tells me what the price is in whatever currency, I want to use. And I can, if it's dollar bills, I can feed that money into the machine and scan my wallet, and it will actually send me that digital collectible onto my wallet, right? So that is the future. That's where things are going to go. We're just not there yet, but when that happens, you're going to see non-fungible tokens take on a whole new meaning and really revolutionize the collectible world, right? Because you can say they can say there's a limited number of, say, a baseball card or a collectible, but who's to really say that, right? I mean, you don't really know how many are really out there, and that's what gives it value. So having something like a non-fungible token that's on a blockchain to where you can see, everything's transparent. The cryptography is what creates trust in that you are getting what you say you're getting. There's no counterfeit that you're going to get when it comes to these non-fungible tokens. So whether it's a non-fungible token that's a digital asset, that's a unique collectible, or like I mentioned, a non-fungible token that is linked to the ownership of a physical item. That's something that we could see happen now. Also, you can see fungible tokens tied to a physical item, right? So instead of having one non-fungible token showing ownership of that art, because you're not gonna cut an expensive piece of art in half just to take it, just to split ownership. So you would need a non-fungible token. But if multiple people wanted to invest into an asset, they could use a fungible token, like an ERC20 token. So tokenize a piece of art. Maybe say it's worth $1 million. You create 1 million tokens. Somebody could buy $5 worth of tokens and have some ownership in that art. And every time it sells, they could sell it for more. Like if the value goes up, then the value of that $5 investment can go up. And that's just using a very small example. But that just shows you what is possible with non-fungible tokens. So I really challenge you to get in. Look up online some articles about non-fungible tokens, what they are, what they could be. CryptoKitties, as silly as it is, was the first use case to show that this actually works and it's something that can happen, right? And still today, there's people trading crypto kitties. I still have three. Like I mentioned, I sold the cross-eyed one, but still have a few more. Um, but that's just a use case. I mean, where do you see non-fungible tokens going? Now, there's been quite a few that have been added to it. Some of them have worked, some of them have crashed and burned. The biggest problem with non-fungible tokens right now is just the amount of use, the amount of use case, the volume going in. There was one guy that actually tried to raise money for his mom for, who was battling breast cancer, and he created a platform called Crypto Titties. Now, it's kind of silly. Understand the idea. When you first hear it, you think how silly, but it didn't really get in front of a lot of people. So non-fungible tokens are going to evolve, especially as they become more demand from your mainstream people, right? People like cats. CryptoKitties was not a bad idea. Major League Baseball crypto. People collect baseball cards. Now imagine having a digital collectible. You can trade with your friends. But this thing can evolve into so many different things. And I think that's what we're going to see. But seeing things that are more in demand, being created as non-fungible tokens is one thing that's going to help drive adoption, and then making the purchase process easier, whether it be online or from a kiosk, right? So that's what we're going to need to see happen. So that's really it. Wanted to kind of plant some seeds in your head about non-fungible tokens. You will hear 2019 is going to be a huge year for non-fungible tokens, so you definitely want to pay attention to this space. And as I mentioned before, that is it. So I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.